Good day. My name is Dr.GTCA, and I'm professor at the Institute for Advanced Genetic Studies at Princeton in New Jersey. The point of the presentation I'm making today is to provide you with an overview of some major research we have been doing at the Institute over the past 6-7 years, and these results will be published in various technical publications starting on Tuesday morning, June 2007. We have been researching the nature of genetic expression and the behavior of male and females in the human population, and we have done sampling of several 100,000 genetic profiles, and we have some rather interesting details to provide to you, the public. What we've been trying to do is ascertain the nature of the differences in behavior between male and females, and taking simple day-to-day behavioral attributes and to try and find out the nature of the genetic component of this. And the results are rather startling. For example, in terms of the female population, we have basically uncovered something called C1525, which is associated with the nature of the buying habits of females in the population, as distinct from the men. We have found that this gene provides a foundation for the buying habits of women being, generally speaking, more excessive than those of men. Specifically also, we have found out that those women who, strange as it sounds, who buy shoes have a subset mutation of the gene I mentioned before, and that would be C1545, which causes a 15 to 25% increase in buying of shoes compared to what would be expected to happen in terms of normal buying of general goods in terms of the population. We're doing additional research on other items, but basically there's a protein expression which causes a surge in desire on the part of women to buy as a result of this gene, as opposed to what men would have. There's also C1545X, which has to do with the distinction in terms of males versus females in terms of control. Various studies have been done in Germany, the United States, and Canada, where they found that on average women are more likely to control situations in terms of spouse than, for example, men controlling women. And we have found that there is a gene that's also expressed in orangutan and chimpanzees going back 10 million years, which accounts for part of that. We also have CT3454, which is a gene which deals with, one would say, discussion or gossip or exploration of what's happening in the environment. We have found that there is a protein in the females which is distinct from the male, which causes a threat control situation for women, whereby they need to have data more so than men about their immediate environment, and that we'd call it in normal terminology gossip, but what we're finding out, this is a need on the part of females to understand better their environment. We also have something called G34T34, and this deals with the aspect of females as opposed to males, most males, where there's a desire to have a high level of cosmetic awareness, whether it's perfume or makeup and things like that, in terms of both attracting the males for reproductive purposes, but also in terms of controlling the environment. There is data that supports this. Now, we mentioned before in terms of this gossip aspect, there seems to be some relationship between the cosmetic and the gossip, but we need about another year or two of research to find out more about that. We also have T56G34, and this is, strange enough, having to do with the cosmetic decoration of nails. And we have found that both the chimps and the orangutans too have the same gene. This gene goes back about 9 to 10 million years. And this gene causes both two things. One is a desire to attract the opposite sex, but also it's a form of trapping mechanism for prey. That it was a form of hunting, foundationist in terms of hunting. For most of the millennia, women were not actively involved in hunting, but with this gene we have found out there's a genetic predisposition in terms of hunting or ensnaring an enemy. Other aspects we have seen here is we do have some evidence in terms of the fingernail side from the Leakey expeditions of 1973 and 75, where we have been able to find some chromosomal material to work with, and that seems to support the issue here in terms of the fingernails. We also have GT45, which happens to tie into the cosmetic, and that goes out with the makeup side. There's a higher level of protein for self-adoration in the females than the males. We're exploring right now in terms of the gay community whether there is a variation of that as well, but the results are much, much too early for that. The last thing in terms of the female side is T34G45, and that has to do with the color pink. We have found that the color pink in women with this genetic foundation causes an incidence of a protein causing a surge in energy in the female population when they see pink. Excuse me. We're not sure yet what this, anything more about this, but it does tie in on the fingernail side, and pink is both for attraction and for trapping. And we have found out a matrix of variables which show that there is 4 or 5 genes in the female species which have to do with trapping or entrapping, which are not found in the male species. Now, that's enough for the female side. You might think that some of this material might find its way on David Letterman, but it's quite serious indeed, because it says that a lot of these factors we see in women are not necessarily environmental or social. There is a genetic foundation for them. If you want to get more information, you stay tuned. On behalf of my associates, both throughout the United States, Canada, and around the world, I want to thank you very much for your listening to this presentation. I hope it provides you with an opportunity of understanding why, to some degree, why men are different than women. Women are not responsible for their actions. Men are not responsible for their actions. This is basically genetic. The gene expression drives the proteins and drives the behaviors of human beings. We're beginning to be on the cutting edge of a philosophy here that says men and women are not accountable for their decisions because it's basically in the genes themselves. The impact of this on the sociological, on the governmental, and other aspects of human society, we're just geneticists here. We can't formulate positions and policies. I don't think people want to hear from us. But basically, men are who they are, women are who they are, and we just have to live with it. Thank you very much.